This is the Uptick Newswire Stock Day podcast, sponsored by InvestorsHangout.com and Equities.com. Subscribe to us on iTunes and YouTube to stay up to date on penny stock news and interviews, public information on OTC, pink sheets, and microcap stocks from around the world. With your host, Everett Jolly.
On today's show, I'm bringing you a brand new company that we discovered a couple of months ago. It's called Cyberfort Software, Inc. They trade on the OTCQB under the ticker symbol CYBF. And with us today is the president and CEO and CFO of the company, Mr. Daniel Cattlin. Daniel, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much for having me.
Give my listeners a little bit about statement of your company, who you guys are, and then I want to get into the Q&A.
We are a Cyberfort software company. We're currently in the process of developing ad blocking and content filtering software. Our overall objective is to protect online consumers from threats that they may encounter online on their computers or portable devices. And while doing so, provide these consumers with a faster and cleaner online experience.
Currently, you guys are a pre-revenue company. Is that true?
Yeah, that is correct. At the moment, we are a pre-revenue company, but the way I want this company to work, and I see no advantages for us to release an app or software to consumers for the sake of revenue. Really, what I essentially want to do is ensure the products we offer to consumers are not only correctly priced, but exactly what we envisioned.
Well, I understand that. Tell us about the ad blocking and content filtering. What exactly do they do, and how can they help safeguard users out there?
Typically consumers, they look at ad blocking and content filtering, and they're not at the forefront of their minds when they're scrolling through websites.
Absolutely.
But once they begin to understand, what malware can do and the amount of personal data that can be obtained by the websites they use, they begin to realize how important it is on a day-to-day basis when they're going through online. So, as I said, I won't bore you with too much detail, but content filtering stops users from accessing sites, apps, or certain type of preset criteria that you put into, such as adult sites or betting sites. The main, the main use of them are basically to deny you access to those harmful sites. Eliminating the exposure to those threats that are potentially able to penetrate your system by going onto those websites.
Yeah, well, the next question I had for you, you recently put out a press release about an acquisition. I just want to know where we at on that and why. The acquisition that you may be speaking of is Just Content. Software, right.
This is an ad blocking and content filtering app, much like the Vivio application that we have currently. Yes, as I said, they are both doing the same thing, but we envision two different avenues of how we want to take these two apps. The one that we currently have with Vivio is indeed a individual for the individual, but we envision taking that down an enterprise kind of route, and we take Just Content on a different avenue.
Yeah, absolutely. You hear about all these different cyber software programs, McAfee, and you could have a list of other ones. What are the biggest threats right now in cybersecurity at the moment, and how are you preparing your technology to target these particular invasions? You quite rightly brought up McAfee, etc. We see data breaches, and I'm sure most of the public see data breaches as one of the biggest threats. It's even the biggest companies struggle to defend themselves against them. In 2008, just looking at 1 year in particular, household brands such as Under Armour and technology companies like Facebook have both been victims of data breaches affecting over, I think it's around 230 odd customers. And that's why that is at the top of our agenda at Cyberfort. As well as developing an app, as I said, for individuals, we want to focus on providing an enterprise suite for companies to use in line with their internal systems. not only implementing privacy-centric and permission-based controls for the companies to ensure safety and private information held on their devices that their employees use, but also a range of data and bandwidth optimization, enabling these products to use those devices to be cost effective almost.
Company that we're highlighting here on Stock Day is Cyberfort Software Inc. Well, you can find them on the OTCQB under the ticker symbol CYBF. With us today is the president, CEO, and CFO of the company, Mr. Daniel Cattlin. Daniel, let me ask you this. How do you envision the market, say, the next 5 years? And what can your company do, and what are its goals to accomplish that?
Looking at one thing, which is, the global online population. Even looking at statistics, I think around 55% of the world's population is, as of last year, online. 5 years' time from that, we could be looking at upwards of 60 or 65%. So, the way that we see it is it's not only a growing market for technology companies, but also very enticing statistics for those who look to exploit users. Our main goal here at Cyberfort is to, maintain that online safety for as many of those users as possible. And we think that, AI, I'm sure a lot of the rest of the sector believe that AI is going to be the main component in achieving those goals of protection. Our aim over the next few years is to do exactly that and implement a strategy of developing an AI cloud-based management system that is able to identify these threats, identify them, eliminate them, while for us, we want to be able to simultaneously update and filtering and ad blocking rules for all users, which, I've always used the expression safety in numbers. So the more people that use the app, the less space there is to hide for those threats. So as soon as it is found and eliminated, or the sooner the system is updated and the knowledge of that threat is there and eliminated, it prevents that spread to the rest of the network.
Absolutely. What would you want my listeners to take away from this interview?
For me, I want them to, see Cyberfort and what we're doing here is, something different. I want them to see this company as something for, we're trying to create these apps and this software for people to be safe online. We're not using it as something that can really be utilized to, there are a lot of companies out there that have these white lists but get bought, they get paid money to put adverts on and let adverts through, where, that's not what we want to do here. We want to be able to protect as many of these people online as possible. So that's the one.
If they want to learn more about your company, Daniel, what kind of website, what would they go to? Your name of your website?
We have our website, cyberfortsoftware.com. You can go on there and it explains exactly what we do. We have links to the application that we have, and soon to be potentially another one very shortly.
I want to thank you for coming on the show today. It was a pleasure to have you on here. Hopefully you become a regular. Give us an update on your company, Cyberfort Software. Look them up on the OTCQB. You can find them under the ticker symbol CYBF. I thank you for your time, and I wish you nothing but continued success.
Thank you. Very good speaking to you.
This program is entirely sponsored and produced by Uptick Newswire, LLC, which is responsible for the content. The opinions and information provided on this program are those of the guests and those of the respective companies they represent, and do not necessarily reflect those of the staff or management of Uptick Newswire. Uptick Newswire encourages all listeners of this program to do their due diligence and research when determining investment strategies that will work for them, or to seek the assistance of an investment professional. The guests of this program may have paid for its distribution and are not directly affiliated with Uptick Newswire or this station.